everybody, this is Shraddha and I'm in conversation with Suhas, who is a founder of Chilipili Maklakuta School in Bangalore. So today we are going to talk about phonics, and especially the phonics which actually got invented by him, and which is a special phonics which has a very different base. So let's try to find out more about this phonics directly from him. So hello.
Hi, thanks Shraddha. So I would like to use the word developed rather than invented.
Okay, developed. Okay. Basically, we would like to know what exactly is Chilipili phonics that you have been telling us.
Okay. So world over, if you see what's happening nowadays, especially in the last 30-40 years, is people are recognizing the importance of teaching language, that is written language, through sounds. Indian languages are already more or less phonetic. When you say phonetic, it means that when you say something and then you write it, the sound is exactly represented by the way it's written. So for example, if you write your name Shraddha in any Indian language, whether it's Kannada or Marathi or Hindi, the way it is written and the way you read it is exactly identical. But this is not completely true for English, and that is where all this confusion has started.
Correct.
So English is, it's not like non-phonetic, but it's not completely phonetic either. It's that half and half which is creating confusion. But they are finding that instead of teaching children through the standard like spellings method, like saying C-A-T, cat, D-O-G, dog, which is not really very logical, because C-A-T, cat, when you join it should become Siat or something like that. But rather teach it through the sounds of the language, and that is the method that's now being increasingly adopted world over, even to teach English. So this is the background that we have come up with our own phonics methodology.
Okay. So what age this phonics starts? What age do you recommend that it should be started?
Yeah, so we do it a little differently. In general, there is also another tendency nowadays that to start everything very early. Because what was starting at 7, school now is starting at 3, and now parents want to start at 2 and now 1.5.
Right.
I don't think that's a good idea either. I mean, we can obviously start this early, but that 4 or 5 is good enough. The thing is, the way we are teaching it is a little conceptual or little understanding based, so that the elder they are, the easier it is and the faster they learn. So it really doesn't matter if you start very early. It's going to take the same time, maybe even more. The later you start, they learn it very, very quickly.
Very quickly.
Because we give the underlying logic behind how this whole thing works, how the phonetics works, before we actually go to the language. So this helps them to work very fast. But the later it is, the faster it is. So I would say 4 or 5 is good enough.
4, 5.
Yeah, even 6 or 7 is also okay. If they're starting a little later, they learn it very, very quickly. General advice is don't try to rush things.
Okay.
Start. Let it be age appropriate.
Give them little time.
Yeah, give them time. Let it be small age is for playing. Let them play. And when it's time to learn, they will learn. So don't worry too much. Don't be in that race. Doesn't matter.
Right. So in Chilipili, you are doing it. So what are the results that you are seeing after making them undergo this kind of phonics? Yeah. What are the main results that you are seeing?
Yeah. So we are very, very happy with the way things have gone, and it's been quite remarkable actually. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is how fast they learn. Of course, they learn it very fast. Our kindergarten children, before they go out, are they're able to read a maths problem and solve it by themselves, for example, which is almost a year or 2 years ahead of their age. And all this without excessive effort from our side or from their side. We don't give homework or too much of homework, or we don't spend excessive time, just maybe half an hour a day. So that obviously is something which kind of stands out. But in addition to that, they learn multiple languages. Like English and Kannada is what we are teaching. But if they have one more language, they can learn that. So they learn to read and write multiple languages by the time they're out of the preschool. So that is one of the remarkable things. But what we are most happy about is not so much that they learn faster, because they're going to learn it at some age or the other. But what we are most happy about is also that they're very confident and they have the clarity to approach anything. So generally what I've found is, if you go to a child who's going through the normal course and you ask him a difficult word, say something, say like asbestos, I write it and ask them to read it. I mean, in fact, if I ask a 4-letter word, they'll say, no, we have not been taught this. But what we have found with our children is they don't hesitate for trying out anything. Maybe they will get it, they may not get it. They may not get it perfectly, but they don't hesitate for anything. And also, when you teach them a new language, there's absolutely no fear, and they just jump at it and they learn it very quickly.
Basically, you're teaching them the logic. You're not concentrating on just training them, that these are the words or anything in specific. You're teaching them logic, and then you go explore yourself. That's the whole concept.
Exactly. We don't teach we don't teach spellings in the normal sense of the word, So we teach them the underlying principles on which it is based. They're fairly straightforward. It's not something very complicated, but that's not how it's being done today. So that's what we found to be very, very good actually. I mean, just to explore a little further, like when you start maths, right? When you don't start with showing the child 5 plus 2 equal to 7. You don't show him a thing and ask him to memorize that.
Yeah, no.
That would be the wrong way to do it. You come to that much later. You first start with what that number represents. 5 represents, 2 represents. Then you get the concept of addition, concept of how things combine to become a bigger number. So you have 5 chocolates, he has 2 chocolates. Together, once he understands that, then only you show this 5 plus 2, and then that's how you build up. But you don't start saying 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 2, 9, and you create a table and you make them, by heart. But that's what's happening in the language. Yeah, CAT, CAT, BO, it's just,
they're like kind of used to mugging it up.
You're trying to do it through memory, and you're trying to mug it up. You're not giving the principle, but you understand, right?
So the new word, if the new word is coming up, they are not able to catch it.
Correct. Okay. They have to be taught.
They have to be taught.
So that's not how it should be, right? So that's what we found is missing. And that's the kind of system we have created.
So all the children who are studying in Chilipili, right, from UKG and all, you are starting this. So do you have any program wherein if the child is not from your school, but if the parent just wants to send, so do you have any such?
Yeah, we are trying to create a program which any parent can use. But my one suggestion would be that do not mix up methods. Okay. Because that will confuse the child. See, the child is already very tender, its brain is not so much developed. So if you try to tell this is the sound and you try to do multiple things at the same time, you'll probably slow down in every method. So we would strongly recommend that you take this and do it fully this way. It will definitely give very, very good results. It will help the child develop his intelligence also, because we are doing it intelligently.
Correct.
Like for example, if you have to take a word small, for example, I'm just giving some example. We don't say SMALL, how do you break it? So SMA, how do you break it further? It's a consonant blend. So that's how we try to develop that awareness, the sensitivity to sounds, to awareness to sound. So it's not only that they learn the language, but they're also learning reasoning and logical thinking.
Correct.
Right? Because they are understanding how to analyze the thing. So overall it's a very good thing. So we would recommend you take it up fully. Or if you want to take it up for elder children who have already learned through one method, they're completed, they're already reading, that's also fine. Because then you kind of get back and you teach them how to approach things phonetically, or if you want to teach other languages, that is okay, but don't mix it up at any given point of time.
And you're basically trying to say that if the child is learning this method, which is also logical and reasoning method they are learning, so they'll be able to apply it in any language. It's not only English, that's the main advantage.
Yes, the beauty of this is if you learn one language, so the way, just very briefly, the way we teach is we kind of create this phonological understanding without any language base, just as a platform. Meaning, like for example, if I say Shraddha is a name, it doesn't have a language. But any word if I take, like I will say Kamala, for example, it could be a Kannada word, Hindi word, it could be run, it could be sun, it could be Mera, it could be a Hindi Kannada word. The foundation is the same. Ma and A, it's a consonant and a vowel joined together to form Me, Ra and A is Ra, they combine to form Mera. This concept or this base we are first developing without any language. So we are not showing any alphabets. We are not associating it with any language. So that's the uniqueness of a method. So we do it in a very language agnostic way. So only once they have developed this phonological understanding, do we then show them a language. Okay. So what happens is, when we are showing them the language, they've already mentally, they know what's going on. They've already created that structure in their mind. So when we show a language, it's just a question of mapping now. Okay, this shape means this sound. That's the only thing. So you start with say English, or you start with Kannada, you start with Hindi, and you go to the next language. It's just that the mapping is changing, and that's how we are teaching them. We're teaching them like in English, cat, the k sound is the k sound. Whether it's Kamal, it's also the k sound. So this is the k sound. This maps to this shape in English, this shape in Kannada, this shape in Hindi.
Okay.
Like that we are teaching. So what happens is once they've learnt one language, the second language becomes very fast, and which we have seen in our school. We have children who have absolutely no Kannada background. Like they've come from Uttar Pradesh, they've come from Mizoram. They pick it up in weeks. Literally weeks they pick up Kannada once they have gone through the first language, because they know the whole structure, they know the whole mapping. Because what we found is that recognition doesn't take time. Once they have the logic, it doesn't take time. So they pick it up very, 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 very fast. So if you have taught them one language, then you go to the second language, the third language, it becomes even faster and faster, because they've become so good at it that it's just a question. Okay, the symbols are changing, but I know the whole thing. So it becomes even faster and faster, and that's also one very, very big advantage of the way we are teaching. So it's not like I have to learn a new language. Whatever I'm learning in English is being used in Kannada. Whatever I'm learning in Kannada is being used in English, Hindi, and in Hindi and in Marathi, or whatever language you want. So there's a add-on. Like I'm learning Kannada doesn't mean it's a waste of time for English, because the same logic I'm applying to English.
In the other language. Okay.
That is a huge plus compared to all other phonetic methods that are available today.
Okay. I don't think even I learnt it in this way or never thought in this way, because as far as I remember, we learnt like CAT, cat, DOJ, dog kind of a thing. But this is a very good concept, I feel, and kids, I have personally seen the kids picking up at Chilipili. So definitely it would be very much helpful.
Yeah.
But I have a next question, which is so my next question is, how do children react to this?
Okay. So very surprisingly, children are also looking for insight. We are so used to telling children like this is it. For example, apple, A-P-P-L-E. That's apple, that's the spelling. But why isn't it apple? Nobody bothers to answer that kind of question. Children want to know the answers. Children want to know the whys. And it's not something that it's illogical and you cannot tell. See, every language has its idiosyncrasies or quirks. And they also enjoy that. This language, it is like this in this language, but this is the pattern. When it ends in LE, it's always al, for example, whether it's little or apple or whatever word you use. So those kind of things they actually like, and they enjoy it. And we also teach it in such a way that it's fun. It's not like sitting in one place, and it's not a classroom kind of thing. We make them move, we make them sing songs and that kind of thing. So they thoroughly enjoy it. We teach them through a lot of games, for example. Yes, of course, when you take it to adults, you may not need some of those things, and adults generally want. They want to remove all these extra things. But children enjoy it. Children like the fact that they're getting an insight into it. They like the fact that okay, this language is like this. Like for example, in English, if you put sir, mer together, it's always like a uttakshara in Kannada. It's a smr. In English, it becomes smr. But in Kannada or Hindi, when they're put next to each other, you don't join it. It's sir, mer, ya. It's separate. So these kind of things, when you show the contrast, they actually, first of all, they understand both languages better. And they like that insight. They enjoy that.
Correct.
So, and children as young as 5 or 6 start understanding this. It's not something which is like very much rocket science. So yeah, they do take it very, very well.
The student is not here. Do you have anything in online that can be given to them?
Yeah, we are trying to create, we are creating a set of material, including a training CD, so that you can use that and train your own child, along with all the worksheets. Because at some point they have to actually start reading. So all the worksheets, all the books, a handbook, all the material required. So we will be doing that, and we will be putting it up.
It will be available on the website of Chilipili.
It will be available online, and in case you have difficulty, we will have some kind of webinar to help you out.
Okay, fine. That's nice. I hope most of the parents who are struggling to teach phonics to the children and finding very difficult that how exactly to make him or her understand, and I'm sure that this will help, because this is a proven thing which we have been seeing at Chilipili. And definitely thanks to Suhas, of course, for this very good developmental thing for students. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks Shraddha. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.